We all know and love files, but not everyone's aware of how to work with them within PowerShell Core, especially if you're a long-time Linux user. So in this section, Working with Files, we'll show you just how easy it is to manage your files using PowerShell Core. In this video, Scott will show you how to use a common toolbox of commandlets regardless of where they're being run. So he'll show you how to read a file using getContent, how to create new files or even replace the contents of existing files using setContent, and how to append information to existing files with addContent. He'll also show you how to tail or read a file as it's being written. Over to you, Scott.
Thanks once again, Josh. Reading and manipulating files with PowerShell Core can be accomplished using getContent to read a file's content, addContent to append content to the specified item or file, setContent to write or replace content in an item with new content. We can do this on either a Windows or a Linux system with PowerShell Core installed. If we needed to update our authorized key file on a Linux system, we could perform this task using PowerShell Core. First, we'll need to establish a session to our Linux machine. Once that's complete, now let's get some information about this machine and its PowerShell Core version, as well as look at the content of the authorized key file. We'll use the PS version table to get the PowerShell information. Then, we'll use the write host command to help us see the start and the end of the getContent output. We see the remote system is a Linux machine and it's running PowerShell Core version 6.1.1. We also see that the authorized key file is currently empty. We've already generated the public and the private keys, and now we need to add the public key information to the remote Linux server. First, we'll need to import the contents of the public key so that we can add it to our remote authorized key file. Using the getContent commandlet to read the key file, we can also use the select string not match to exclude the beginning and the end SSH2 public key text from the file contents. Here we see the public key that we're going to write to our authorized key file on our Linux server. Now, using our already opened session, let's write that key. We'll need to use the using in order to pass that information in. Using addContent, let's append the information we captured in the variable addMyKey and append it to the remote file. Using getContent again, we'll look at the remote authorized key file. PowerShell Core made that work quick and easy. And we can see that it's populated with the key that we generated earlier. When setting up OpenSSH, you need to manipulate the sshd_config file to enable passwords. We can do that work using the getContent and setContent commands in PowerShell Core. First, we need to import the sshd_config file using getContent. Let's take a quick look at the getContent of the sshd config file. We need to uncomment out the line that reads password authentication yes by removing the pound or hash character. We accomplish this by placing the get command and the file name in parentheses and using the dot replace, then another set of parentheses, the string we want to find and replace, separated by a comma, the replacement string, and then piping all of that into a setContent and the file name. Now let's check our file content. And here we can see that the password authentication yes is now uncommented. So what if we wanted to remove a line entirely? Let's choose the pound override default of no subsystems string in this file. We could use the same command as before, but give the replaced string an empty set of characters, and then use setContent once again. And now we see that line was completely removed. With getContent, we could also watch as a text file is being written by using the -wait argument, calling getContent and specifying the file along with the wait command. So let's execute a command that will pull back all of the processes currently running on this machine. And we'll write that to the ctemp processes text file. And let's watch as it gets written. Also, we're going to add in a break once the file finds a specific string. In this example, it will look at all the processes until it finds the PWSH or PowerShell Core process. So let's execute this string, waiting and watching. We'll clear our terminal so that way we have a clean slate from which to watch. Now, with a little help from another shell, we'll begin the execution of this process. So as soon as it found our PowerShell Core process, script terminated. We've used get content to read files and the add content and set content to manipulate those files. Get content is a great utility tool that has a lot of usefulness.